Good morning, Cowboy Jim, and won't we get this thing adjusted a little tiny bit here? Well, I hope you had a pretty good weekend. This is Monday morning up here in Fort Mac, and I had a decent weekend, thanks to a whole lot of things, but Yellowstone, greatest movie I never was in. Or so, I tell you, I sure would have enjoyed that. My goodness, what a pleasure. I'm I have the joy, the extreme honor of waking up today and sitting outside and enjoying fresh air, and well, I had a cigarette as well, so we may set the fresh air part aside. Great giant bird, pretty big bird actually, redhead, and it was beating the ever loving out of the neighbor's house, and so I kind of watched for a little while, and I was shocked. I mean, how a red-headed woodpecker doesn't get a headache is just truly beyond my understanding. Well, he left quite an impression, and I mean, oh, did he nail that house? Well, and I'm sure he probably woke half the neighborhood up. He was so loud. Today, I thought I'd take a shot. Yesterday, I did my 101st video. One of the things that's very important that I've found over the years is one of two things. Set your goals a little lower than you're pretty sure you can reach, and you'll feel better about yourself when you reach them. The other is set your goals a little higher than you know you can reach, and you may surprise yourself a little. It's kind of like playing with your emotions. Not just too sure which one you should be going for. But I will say this, when people, I have ridden at two dude ranches, one when I was 16, called Long Acres Dude Ranch, and a lady by the name of Eileen Campbell. That lady was a horsewoman. And you didn't mess with Eileen. And she was such a good lady. And so I rode horses there, but I'd ridden horses all my life, thanks to my dad, who he kind of was stuck on horses, and he was pretty good at handling teams. He even had a 4-horse hitch that he hauled a stagecoach around with, that he had made out of a something like a 29 Model A or something like that, and he built the whole blessed steam coach, or stagecoach, and he didn't use nails. He was a carpenter that lived by faith. And so he did the whole thing out of mortise and tenon, and you may not understand what that means, and it's putting the whole thing together out of 2x2 oak, inserted panels, and instead of using nails, he fitted each piece into the other, and that exemplified mortise and tenon, and then he held them all together with with chunks of wood that had been whittled down and driven in as though they were nails. One of the things I've been, I wanted to say the reason, the reason I mentioned that about setting your goals low enough that you reach them is when people would ask me if I knew how to ride, I'd say, well, not so good at riding, but I sure do know how to fall off horses. You ever want a little bit of a chuckle? Check out Anchor D. That was the second dude ranch that I ever rode at, and that was only a couple of years ago when some friends came down to the ranch, and I'd sold all my horses trying to hold on to the ranch. What a futile waste of breath and time. And but we went riding, and young man, he would be in his 40s or something, who knows, and he chided me, spelled C-H-I-D-E-D, chided. He picked on me a little bit. He said, don't you know enough to lean forward when that horse is urinating? I said, brother, is that horse going to lean forward when I have to take a leak? That was a bad thing to do. I thought it was quite humorous. My friends who had come from Fort Mac down to the ranch, they nearly fell off their horses, but nonetheless, it didn't work out so well for me. And, of course, if you don't know what humor is, and I never have understood humor, what is it that you can say that will cause another to smile rather than laugh in derision at you? The most beautiful woman I ever met in the world, I spoke to her not that terrible long ago. Well, it seems like it was a lifetime ago, but it wasn't. And I said, I seem to be having trouble with my muscles cramping up a little. They're not that many of them, but they seem to get together and argue with each other a little. And she is well, if you ever saw her, you would understand what I'm saying. She's probably the greatest female bodybuilder, well, I'd like to say in the world. I use that expression when I speak about how beautiful she is, but nonetheless, she probably is. And she said, just take, I have to turn the stupid stove down a bit here. Gee whiz, burning half of my food. Oh, it's burnt. And nonetheless, I'm back. Gee whiz. And, well, I won't gain much for calories out of that darkened stuff. And she said, take potassium and 1 pill a day and 4 liters of water, which incidentally was quite a shock to me. I drink a fair bit of water, but it's usually in the format of coffee. And when she said that, I just laughed, and it was not in derision. That woman, she just, well, it was an absolute, well, I don't know what it was, but I was sure not laughing at the lady. I mean, the woman knows her stuff. Anyone that could bench press twice my weight and not break into a sweat, which I'm pretty sure she could, but nonetheless. Anyways, I've spent a lot of time, and I have had the distinct honor and privilege of having met a lot of people, and some of them have greatly impressed me. and some haven't done much for me at all. Well, some have tried to do some stuff against me, and but that's not for me. That's for them, against me. Anyways, I've said many times that you don't understand a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. Of course, when I was a kid, it was a mile in their moccasins. Because I grew up at a little place called Wasaga Beach on Georgian Bay, 60 miles north of Toronto, right at the mouth of the Nottawasaga River. And the people that I admired in our community, one was a dozer operator named John Kerr. I use his name because he's long since passed. There was another man, Ken Tracy, and he was English, but he was an athlete, and I don't know if he ever lifted weights. Back then, there were people who lifted weights. Charles Atlas, who indicated the need for enhancing your physical abilities in order to enhance your psychological abilities and your character and your personality. And many people, to me, I was into martial arts and I played hockey, and I was a whole lot more pleasant on the judo mat than I was with skates on, and because I was pretty quick, and but those two were my heroes. I have had more than just those two as heroes. One is that lady who gave me the counsel on 1 potassium pill a day, and I couldn't make it up to the 4 liters, and she said, well, just do 2 liters, just start off somewhere. You just have to do that, and if you don't, your muscles will cramp up continually, and if you do, you'll be fine. She was so matter of fact and so absolutely right and so pleasant of voice, articulate beyond imagination. I laughed. I mean, my heart was just filled with joy. So here goes. In this life, I'm going to try to not talk so long. Somewhat, shall we say, of a challenge. My 101st video yesterday, I had Yellowstone on in the background, and along came Willie Nelson singing the tail end to this one song, and I realized I really had done myself a favor, because when we do the 201st video, it will be better no matter, even if I don't say a word, which may enhance some of my videos pretty good. Because the background noise was so loud. Oh my, gee, oh yeah, 100 videos, you should be getting her right. And, but I wasn't getting her right yesterday. And, but today's a new day. I process thought, and people who process thought will understand that, and others will look at the exterior here and say, another bad hair day there, Cowboy Jim. Yep, not a good hair day. And not like I care that much about that hair, but I'm kind of glad to have it. And facial hair is coming along not too bad. And I realized yesterday I spent the day, I watched Yellowstone, and I cooked some food and didn't burn it, which is a novel idea for a Monday morning when I wasn't sure what I wanted to have, but evidently it's not going to be that stuff. But anyways, I thought long and hard about one potassium pill a day and 2 liters of water to start off. And I realized that we choose, I guess we choose to hurt people, to give the impression like as though we may demean another. It is not my intent to do that. It was not my intent to do that when I just, it's called gut left. I just expressed a deep-seated emotion that so easily could be misconstrued. And then I thought the term, the misconstrued, and I thought, how many times in my life have I done that self-same thing? How many times have I expressed something from within that adversely affected another's ability to smile? And I'm fairly prayerful in how I approach life situations. Fairly prayerful in that God has admonished us to love one another, and it is not a challenge at all. If you ever are watching true bodybuilders, it's not even out of the question that that lady, 1 potassium pill, 2 liters of water, if she hasn't been on television, well, it's only a matter of time. And I thought I unintentionally, inadvertently hurt someone. And then I went to work analyzing, assessing my heart. That's what I do. I don't want to recognize a problem without first making sure that I haven't contributed to the problem. And it is truly unfortunate that my contributions not only are not appreciated, but my contributions are real. And so I most humbly apologize to that lady, who will go totally nameless. I don't know if you can say I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing with you. It's somewhat, shall we say, difficult when the other person isn't laughing at all, when their feelings have been hurt. So I spent the day yesterday assessing how many times it is more than likely that I had hurt that most beautiful woman Well, I say in the world, but that's because I've seen her. If you had, you'd probably agree with me. And so I most humbly apologize, and I do mean humbly apologize. And I try to ascertain if there is some equity, some value in what I try to do here. I don't know that there is that much. I know beyond doubt that when I apologize to someone, and I'm going to have to do this on a personal level, and it's not going to be an easy thing, but it's going to be a thing. If in your day, and I guess this is my vain attempt at not exonerating myself, in this instance, there is no exoneration for me. But if you occasion to have walked in a very troubled manner, that is trying to walk when your foot is firmly embedded in your mouth, forward progress is somewhat, shall we say, restricted. I just want to encourage you, and this is very personal because I'm going to message that little lady, and I'm going to humbly apologize to her. And there was a little thing on my messengers thing on my phone thing, and it was a little microphone, and I thought, I wish I could turn the volume up on my phone so I could possibly hear a little better. And so I hit that microphone, and dear Lord, that had nothing to do with anything I needed done except that it recorded almost my thoughts, let alone my breathing, which evidently is not that good. Hard to believe. But anyways, there's a scriptural concept, and it is this: humble yourself and pray. There's another Irish, perhaps scriptural, I think so, concept, and it is this: humble yourself and ask for forgiveness. That has a lot to do with God, has a lot to do with His Son. In this instance, it has a lot to do with me realizing the potential, the reality of my running roughshod over another's feelings, even though my heart is so full of feelings toward that one. That was not my intent. If I had thought, I'm not sure how many times in my lifetime I've been able to say, if I had thought, well, I would never have said that. Well, if I had thought, I probably wouldn't be in the situation where I am today. But if you find yourself in somewhat, shall we say, a similar situation, and there's someone that you can think of who kind of is upset with you, not necessarily are they wrong. Very well, you may have a little Irish blood in you, but that's not an ancestral thing, a genetic thing. It's a human thing. But I won't slough off my responsibility, and I'm not proud the fact that I have so many opportunities to ask people to forgive me. But if you in your day can think of anyone that you should apologize to, well, give her hell. And because it may not make a difference to that person. I played no role at all in that lady's life, which I wish were not exactly the reality, but it is kind of. But if you have offended someone, take a moment, talk to my father, and ask him to give you some wisdom in how to humble yourself and ask others forgiveness, and he'll give it to you because he loves you just that much. And they say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of understanding. I, of course, study my Bible not nearly as much as I should. When I make quotes and get them all wrong, it's somewhat, shall we say, self-evident. But in my desire to honor my father and to encourage you, I do on occasion find myself in a very base state of mind, in that I recognize my needs, not my personal needs, my needs to grow up a little and be a little kinder and be a little more thoughtful. Well, thank you for the privilege and the honor of, on a Monday morning, you allowing me to speak with you. God bless you. God bless you.